right, today we're going to be talking about the exciting and fun-filled world of cyber liability insurance. Specifically, we're going to be talking about the Cyber Insurance Questionnaire that the insurance companies typically send out to folks when they are applying for coverage. Lately, pretty regularly, we get our clients coming to us asking for help on questionnaire. Maybe some of the questions are a little unclear, or they might be not quite understand exactly what they have when it comes to their IT setup, or they a lot of times are missing or need help with the company policies that the questionnaire is specifically asking for. So we thought it might be helpful to kind of prepare a little guide, a little plan that might help organizations when it comes to getting themselves prepared in advance before they start filling out the questionnaire, with the whole idea being that you're going to get quoted the most competitive rates possible if you can kind of demonstrate to the insurance companies that you've got your house in order when it comes to your IT setup and your cybersecurity posture. So the guide has basically 6 key areas that we're going to dive into. But before we do that, just a little background. Curtis, why don't you tell us a little bit about what cyber liability insurance typically covers and why we recommend it to all of our clients?
Yeah, so obviously it's insurance. Most people understand that. And just to ping back to what you were saying about, the clients have questions. Heck, sometimes I've had questions. The cyber security liability questionnaires are sometimes more confusing than the problems they're seeking to address, which makes it difficult for our customers. But I guess I wanted to say that if you see one of these and you're like, I don't know what they mean, just know that even sometimes we don't know what they mean. I've had to get on calls with providers, and work through all the headaches of these questionnaires. And that's part of what Eric said as to why we want to put something out there, try to make it a little bit easier to at least attempt to do these. Or if you need help, obviously reach out to us. But the key reasons the only reason you need it is because cybersecurity is taking down businesses. The issues, cyber threats are taking down businesses all the time. You get ransomware. Do you want to pay it or not? Obviously, we opt for not as much as we can. Is there going to be help there? It can dovetail into, paying for, PR, paying for attorneys, paying for outside assessors to come make sure the problem's cleaned up. It can cover a lot of different pieces. Not every policy is the same by any stretch of the imagination. And what you don't want to do is get cybersecurity liability insurance and then find out you didn't do the risk assessment correctly. And then they say, hey, we're not paying you for anything because you said you had MFA turned on and you didn't, or something like that. So it's a lot of pieces to it.
Would it be fair to say that the questionnaire is basically in itself kind of a guide to say, hey, here are the things that you should really be focusing on when it comes to cybersecurity? Here's kind of a checklist for you.
Oh, yeah. Most of the time. I haven't seen one of those. That's not true. Most of the ones that we see aren't anything other than good suggestions. It lines up really well with our mints often, which, mints is something maybe we'll touch on later. But we see these and they're generally a good idea. Like if a client comes to me and says, I don't want to turn on MFA, I need to have a different conversation with that customer. And that can pretty much dovetail into any aspect. Yes, all your computers do, in fact, need some type of antivirus, So, the things they're asking are pretty low-hanging fruit most of the time. Now, that can expand a little, and I think we're going to talk about, for assessing risks, what that can expand into.
Yeah, so basically, real quick here, the 6 key areas that we're going to be going over. We're going to start with how your organization assesses risks. The second step is policies, which we know everybody kind of dreads and hates, but we'll try to make it painless. Securing your environment, your data, limiting access to sensitive data, and then 2 real key ones at the end, data management, backup, and then cybersecurity awareness training.